The gentleman farmer strikes again. I have a 5-gallon bucket hydroponic system here that I'm growing tomatoes in. My water is actually under this deck, where I use a bilge pump to pump it up to this garden hose, and then I drip through a drip system into each of my tomatoes. I noticed in the last few days a problem. You can see that I have the 5-gallon buckets dripping water into this 4-inch PVC pipe. One of the things I've tried to do with the system design is create a system that allows me to visually inspect it quickly and identify any problems. I've learned that when I created my hydroponic system for my greens. If I could not see it and easily visualize or visually inspect it, then it was a problem. Well, you can see here that some of my tanks are not dripping. Others are dripping very aggressively. There's a problem. And when I took out the tubes to inspect, I discovered instantly the reason that they're not dripping down here is because they're not getting any water. Now, why would some of my tubes get water and not others? They all come off of the same source. Well, I checked them for clogging initially and found none. I looked at all of the possible connections. You can see here some transplants that failed on me. And then I realized that those hoses that are closer to the end of my hose that runs, you can see the conclusion of it right here. The closer they are to the end, the better the water flow. And that got me to thinking. I hope to be able to visually show this to you. I've got a little hole that I use to look down in there. And I believe that you'll be able to see through this hole. There's my bucket, which should be full of water. In fact, is not full of water. That's the bilge pump down there, which pumps at a substantial rate. I think it's 1,100 gallons per hour. Has no problem getting the water up about 6 feet. But what's happened is my bucket is no longer full. Consequently, it's pushing a lot of air through the hose, so the water pressure inside the hose has dropped. As a result, the water is rushing to the end of the pipe and then filling those hoses that are closest to the end, while the pressure back here is not sufficient to keep the water going. Gentleman farmer strikes again.